Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Coopzilla, and I am going to be bringing you another StarCraft 2 broadcast. This is a special StarCraft 2 broadcast because it is going to focus specifically on how to deal with mutas. Let's introduce the players. We have down here in the bottom right, Domination. He is a Masters Terran player. He is playing Protoss right now, and that's because I am only a gold level player, and or maybe a low platinum level player, and he wants some practice on how to deal with mutas. So he's going to let me macro up, get my muta count up. That's why I have it sped up, because there's really no action until I get my mutas out. You can see he is preventing my. I could have went right back down there and put it up, but my spawning pool is up. He prevented the hatchery, so he's able to do a forage fast expand. I think with muta harassment, this is pretty necessary to get as much economy as you can up, because once the Zerg player gets the mutas out, they are so difficult to deal with. I just don't think that a one-base Protoss can effectively deal with muta harass. And so there's actually a lot of ways you can deal with mutas in the late game, early game, things like that. There's things like blink stalkers are very effective. Cannons in your minerals lines. High Templar when the muta count is like ridiculous and it's just a huge ball, a flock of mutas flying through. There's also things that do splash damage like Archons. Phoenix are effective when mutas are in low number and if you have really good control of your Phoenix. But as for everything else, that's pretty. I don't know. This second base is a good idea, and so you can see our supply counts are fairly even. I am only running one on gas right now because I am afraid of any push through the front door. Another way to deal with mutas is to never let them happen. And I'm saying this from a Zerg perspective because I don't play other races very frequently. I don't have a good perspective of effectively dealing with mutas, but I know that it is impossible to get to tier 2 when they are pushing at your door constantly. That's why I got these 2 spine crawlers up. I got late gases just because of that. I am scouting with these lings and I have a little bit of map control, and I decide I want to get my 3rd expansion up pretty soon because I know that this a Zerg player has to be on more bases than the Protoss player for sure. So I do come up here and I put this here while I can get some lings out to kill this pylon. My spire is coming down. It's pretty close to being finished, and I am saving up the gas and the minerals to get enough, and I have enough supply so I can get out that initial 8 mutas, start getting my upgrades, and right about that time our Protoss player is moving out. So if he wanted to prevent me from getting those expansions, he kind of missed his opportunity, but that is an option. Let me slow it down now because now the action is about to kick in. It's kind of a longer macro game, but you'll kind of see and I'll just spoil it for you right now. Our Protoss player does effectively deal with mutas. So a lot of it comes down to control and things like that, but we'll kind of see. I have scouted him out. I can see him with the creep tumor. I can see him with my lings. I was afraid he was kind of going to blink up, but I realized he's not going to blink up, and he doesn't have any vision anyways. And so I'm just going to move my lings in, try to get a surround. Not effective at all, but the mutas, they're here. The stalker is low. Now there is pretty much no way for him to fight off all these mutas with just sentries, and the mutas will basically mop this up, chase him away, make him fall back. But in the meantime, the push was basically just to keep me away out of the vision of him putting down a 3rd, and that is an excellent strategy to get some more economy, to make sure the Zerg player is never ahead of you. Because as a Protoss player, you want to have more bases or equal amount of bases as your Zerg opponent. Because from a Zerg perspective, you want to have at least the same amount or more bases, one more base than your opponent, and that is a pretty good strategy. As for myself, I am not the best player. I'm not macroing up as good as I can be. You can see the energy on my queens are just out of control, and in those cases, I usually have to get a macro hatch or even two, just because my micro is not that great. So it's not. This isn't dealing with pro strategies, but the majority of StarCraft 2 players are platinum level and below, and this is exactly the type of stuff you'll see. And so let's just pause it right here. Okay, let's just pause it right here. We see 2 High Templars pretty much in every mineral line. Let's see, one over here, and we have one over here. No High Templar. Oh, here's a High Templar. And they all have enough energy for Storm. Storm has been researched. So what they could do is, if you see them coming in, you see a big flock of mutas coming in, he has a cannon there to prevent anything from going down. As a Zerg player, I'm going to try to pick these High Templars off as fast as I can, and as the Protoss player, he's going to want to storm them as fast as he can. And he's going to want to aim for where they float down below, not where they are up top. And we'll see if he's able to get this down. We will just see. So I come in here, I pick one High Templar off, he picks one up, he shoots one, but he kind of missed. See, he aimed it right here. My mutas are actually floating. If I could just select them all. See, they're actually floating right down here. So they were more over here. He missed it. If I would have retreated, I definitely would have been hit by that Psionic Storm. And he's pulled his air shooting units over here. And I'm just kind of macroing up right now. I'm building some lings, getting some mutas out. I have my bases going, and I might see some drones come out for me pretty soon. I do need to get these gases on as soon as I can. But we're going to focus on the Protoss player, because that's what this is all about. We're trying to deal with those muta harass. I think this might have been the first time I noticed this. Or no, it wasn't. I poked in here before. I'm not sure. But he's definitely loading up a lot of stalkers. I think he has blink researched Templars. I think he has blink researched. I'm pretty positive he does. There it is. Yes, he has blink researched. He's right now researching charge. Okay, so here's a thinking of the Zerg. I'm going to bring you into the hive mind right now. Hive mindset. What's going down is I'm going to be building up as many mutas as I can, and this is mostly just to help him practice. But every time I use my gas, I'm going to be left over with a lot of minerals. And what do you do with minerals? If as a Zerg player, you're going to build lings. So I'm going to start, upgrading my lings in every way, shape, and form. You see, I'm already researching melee and ground carapace level 2, as well as a flyer attacks level 2. So you need some way to deal with those Zerglings, and charge lots are definitely the way to go. Lings just don't fare up very well against charge lots unless the lings are in just ridiculous mass number. So we'll kind of see what's going on over here. He's bringing his High Templar over, not quite as fast. I see them scooting over, and so the speed of the mutas is where it's all about. I see this guy over here. I'm looking around. I want to pick him off. He's not controlling, not paying attention enough. The idea is good to have the High Templar there, but if you want to use him, you got to pay attention. See, that storm really didn't get that many mutas in the yellow, and that's just kind of what it's all about. Each storm is not going to really kill off all of my mutas, but it will definitely whittle down the numbers, whittle down the health points, and so eventually a final blow can just happen. And as for myself, he's actually beating me in the supply count, and I think that's, well, first of all, because I'm not a Masters level player. To get to Masters level, I think it's all about the macro. And I do realize that, and I've been practicing on my macro a lot to try to get out of the gold platinum status. But you can see a huge unit ball. And I just want to say, as a Zerg player, this is not the strategy I would go. This many mutas, although good, you know, I could be harassing him with a more. There's a lot of I could, you know, he has 4 bases. This is never good to let happen as a Zerg player. You do not ever want your opponent to be equal amount of bases as you, and you know, a 3 base Protoss is scary as hell. A 4 base Protoss, it's like almost unstoppable. So we'll just kind of see what goes on. He is building up a lot of anti-muta units. You see a lot of Archons. We see a lot of High Templar. I think it was High Templar in there. Well, anyways, lots of Stalkers anyways. And I see him moving out, and so I'm going to be pulling my mutas back. I was moving in here to pick these off, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. And I just want to point out that my muta ball is pretty damaged. There's a lot of green, but there's a lot of yellow in there, and that's never good. And so I'm attacking head on. I don't have as many lings as I need, and look at 2 storms right there already, completely orange and red. These mutas are useless. One more storm is going to kill him, or a few Archon shots is going to kill him. So he realizes he's moving in. He has the perfect unit composition to deal with Ling Muta. That's the upgraded Zealots, the upgraded High Templar, and the Archons. And so one storm, you see how many mutas were killed there. That's like 15 mutas just went down. And now I'm pretty useless. The Lings move in, they fight the Zealots with backup from their ranged units, and the Zerg is basically screwed at this point. There's no way he can beat this. He's storming my drones and everything else, and I really have no way to come back from this. As a Zerg player, if this ever encounters you, go Broodlords or something. Go, you know, make a tech switch. Go to like Ultralisks or something. Something that storms just have nothing to do with. But that's basically the game. It was mostly just a practice for domination, and I wanted to cast it just so any you know, below platinum, below Masters players out there can get some ideas on how to effectively deal with mutas. And I think that the answer is definitely in unit composition. Upgraded charge lots for the dealing with the excess Lings and High Templars, and when you've used the energy, morph them into Archons, all those splash damage units, mutas can just die so quickly, and that's of Stalkers to deal with the mutas that are left over. And also the macro. You gotta out macro your opponent, and keeping me scared out of my life to not macro like crazy. And so that's an effective way to deal with mutas. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, please subscribe. I try to come out with videos every once in a while. I'm definitely not as on the ball as a Husky or an HD or a Psy StarCraft or anything like that. But if you enjoy and you love listening to the sound of my beautiful voice, please subscribe. Also, if you're in Clan AG, you are meant to subscribe. I am your voice. I'm just kidding, but no, please do subscribe. And anyways, so thank you for watching. This has been Kubzilla signing out. GG.